Welcome back to the Actary Magic Channel. I'm Steve, the Actary. Elspeth is back, baby. And she doesn't look undead, at least. And that's fantastic for her. Anyway, I want to let you know we're doing Streets of New Capenna spoilers part 3 on this channel. If you want to see the rest of the spoilers that we've done, link in the description below. But before we get into the spoilers, I want to let you know we're sponsored today by MTG On Command. They do these really cool 3D printed deck boxes. They hold 100 double sleeve cards, and your commander sits on the front just like that. So you can tell exactly what's in your deck at all times, and also put it out on the command, in the command zone as well. I have been putting it in this old Dragon Egg that is now, Dragon Egg itself is out of business, but if it's 2 of them and I'm super excited about it, link in the description below for 10% off your first deck box. Anyway, so let us get into Streets of New Capenna. Wait, we've got 2 major returning characters. One's a Planeswalker that I didn't think we were going to see for a long time, and one is a Prayer that I thought was dead. Stay tuned to the end. Okay, so today we are talking. Ooh, I'm so excited. You're all invited. Okay, New Capenna spoilers, okay? So I am all hyped up on Kefin, and we are going to talk about it. So, Elspeth is back, and she's back in a big way. She's having so much fun. She looks like she's down to party. Now, here's the thing about Elspeth. She was dead. Dead. Like, actually dead. Like, all dead. Not partly dead, all dead. And now here she is. She's set up shop on New Capenna, and she is looking beautiful. She is in the classic flapper style. Let me get my face out of the way a little bit here. Let me show you. Okay, so she is beautiful. So she's a 5-drop, 5 loyalty, +1. Choose up to 1 target creature. Put a 1/1 counter and a counter from among flying, first strike, lifelink, or vigilance on it. Wow. So you get some really perfect choices here, and then those counters just stay. So the next turn you can just choose something else and just make this super awesome creature out of it. I really like that plus. The first strike is going to give you a chance to go and really get aggressive. The lifelink is going to give you back some of that life. The vigilance is going to keep you protected. It's all great. -3, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a permanent card with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield with a shield counter on it. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So a shield counter, as I understand it, is almost like a regeneration counter. Basically, it removes damage. So it'll pop, it'll go away basically if the creature receives damage, or the creature would be destroyed, okay? So if it even takes, so it's a 3/3, if it takes 2 points of damage, the shield counter is gonna go away, but the creature's not gonna die. But then it wasn't enough damage to kill the creature, but the shield counter still got removed, right? Okay, makes sense. Now, -7, create 5 3/3 white angel creature tokens with flying. This is cool, man. I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing this in my Atraxa build. I can't wait to get my hands on a copy, but she's awesome. But I wanted to tell everybody what flappers are. For those of you who are unaware, maybe you haven't gotten to that part in your history class, a flapper is described by the History Channel as flappers of the 1920s were women known for their energetic freedom, embracing a lifestyle viewed by many at the time as outrageous, immoral, or downright dangerous. Let's go back to Elspeth here. She looks like she's got a drink in her hand. She is whining and dining. She's got this really cool staff going on. I don't know that it's outrageous, but she might be living dangerously. All right, guys, that's a flapper. History lesson. Anyway, moving on. The flavor in this set is so fantastic. These vehicles that they're coming out with just look so 1920s. I mean, look at the getaway car. Look at the limousine here. They're awesome. So the getaway car is a 3-drop 4/3 with haste, okay? Whenever it attacks or blocks, return up to 1 target creature that crewed it this turn to its owner's hand. Up to 1. So I'm under the impression that you don't have to. Okay, it says return up to 1. And so it only crews for 1. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense. It would have to return that creature to your hand. Otherwise, it just seems too good. Seems too pushed, in my opinion, if it didn't bounce that creature to your hand. But it's really good. Mysterious Limousine. This 5-drop 4/4, there's a lot going on here. So when it enters battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 other target creature until Mysterious Limousine leaves the battlefield. If a creature is put into exile this way, return each other card exiled with Mysterious Limousine to the battlefield under its owner's control. Basically, what that means is every time it enters the battlefield or attacks, you basically get a choice and I believe the up to one means you have the choice. You get a choice of if I want to exile a new creature or keep the one underneath it or that's already exiled there, okay? So you can only keep one creature basically at a time under Mysterious Limousine outside of weird circumstances. Only one creature at a time can be exiled with Mysterious Limousine, but whenever you exile a new creature, the other creature comes back. Now, what's interesting about this is it's almost like a a Conjurer's Closet or Teleportation Circle. That's what's really great about this. Getaway Car also kind of gives us that too, is that if we bounce a creature, say like Reclamation Sage, with Getaway Car, now we get to replay it and get more value out of it. So I like both of these in a Blink style deck. They're cool. Anyway, oh, and plus they look beautiful. I mean, crew 1, crew 2, I mean, you crew with the creature you're about to bounce or you're about to exile, and then you exile that creature, bring it back to play, or you bounce that creature. It's cool. All right, next up we have Casualty. This is a new mechanic. It's very cool. So Devilish Valet. This dude looks gnarly. He's got that hat on. That's really, really cool. He's a 3-drop 1/3 trample with haste. He says whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, double Devilish Valet's power until end of turn. If you've got a Rancor on this thing, he will get he'd be a 3/3 with Rancor on him. If you double his power, then he becomes a 6/3. Double his power again, he becomes a 12/3. So if you play something like for instance, Hordling Outburst with him, right? Hordling Outburst is going to put 2 goblins into play. They're any creature. It doesn't have to be a non-token creature. So whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, or with like one of the Krinkos, like Krinko Mob Boss, you're going to make this dude massive very quick. This is a very exponential kind of growth kind of guy. And it's trample and haste. He's disgusting. He's really, really fun. I think he's going to find a lot of homes in Goblin builds, surprisingly. Okay, next up, we want more Casualty, more flavor. Dude, that guy's flavorful. Look at him. Okay, more flavor. Cut of the Prophets. Double Black and X. Casualty 3. Okay, we'll talk about Casualty here in a second. Okay, now, you draw X cards and you lose X life. Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, life gain if you have some way of balancing that out. Casualty 3. So, as you cast a spell, you may sacrifice a creature with power 3 or greater if you do copy this spell. You're copying this spell and it's X. So be careful here, because if you do a Casualty, you may pay, say you pay 5 mana for this spell, and then you sack a creature of power 3. Okay, you are going to draw 6 cards, and you're going to lose 6 life. If your X is, if you pay a total of 7 mana, you are going to draw, and you sack a creature, you're going to draw 10 cards and lose 10 life. So it's powerful. It's got some good mechanics, especially in an Aristocrats build. But be careful. Okay. And it's only one creature with power 3 or greater. It can't be multiple creatures adding up to 3. Interesting. Now, talking about Casualty, we got the Beast back. Ob Nixilis is back. I wasn't expecting him, but why not? He is the Demon Planeswalker. Okay, he's a 3-drop. What? Okay, 3-drop Planeswalkers are dangerous to print, especially for Modern. For a red, a black, and 1 generic, you get a 3 loyalty Planeswalker. And they're just beautiful, beautiful arts, by the way. I really like the one in the middle. I think that one's my favorite. No, actually like the original one, my favorite. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so a 3-drop 3 loyalty, Casualty X. So basically you copy Ob Nixilis. I think this is the first time we get to copy an Ob Nixilis or copy a Planeswalker. I don't know, there's other copy permanent stuff. But anyway, the copy isn't legendary and has starting loyalty of X. So you can sack a 1-drop or 1 power creature and get a 1 loyalty Ob Nixilis with this Ob Nixilis. So it's really cool. +1, each opponent loses 2 life unless they discard a card. If you control a demon or a devil, you gain 2 life. Cool. -2. Create a create a 1/1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. Sweet. And -7, target player draws 7 cards and loses 7 life. So this guy is really cool. I like him a lot. I love the fact that he gets to make copies of himself. So if you're +1ing on both of them, you're just going to drain everybody for 4. For a 3 mana spell. That's like the baseline. That's like the lowest level. If you happen to control a devil, which we already saw, we've got devils coming into this set. If you happen to control a devil already, now you're going to be gaining 4 life. So on the base, you're going to you sack a creature at 1/1. You get to drain every opponent for 4, and possibly gain 4 life. That's just the base. Then you're -2, you can start creating doubles. I really, really do think that you are going to just plus people with this card. You're just going to plus all over the place. You're just going to melt faces. It's going to be good. Now, the next one on our list is absurd. Wizards of the Coast has gone full out on this. This is the most absurd printing of any card I've ever seen. It's awesome, but it's insane. Okay, so they printed Gala Greeters, which is a fantastic card. Okay, it's a 1 green, 1 generic alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Put a 1/1 counter on Gala Greeters, create a tapped treasure token, or you gain 2 life. Okay, so you only get 3 triggers out of this. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Oh, this turn, actually. You can get all 3 of these in 1 turn. So it'll reset the next turn you play something. Okay, good. Now, they printed this 12 different arts on Gala Greeters. So here we have the English version here in the center and on the left, but then we have simplified Chinese on the right. Okay, so that art is different than the traditional Chinese here on the left. Then we have German here in the middle. We have French here on the right. So the German reminds me of like all of those World War II films, like Inglourious Bastards. Oh. And then the French, very, very chic, very, very modern for the time. And then we have the Italian, very, very Italian. He's got that rolled up mustache. He looks like he's having a great time. They have the big masquerade ball thing going on. We got the Japanese here in the center. The Japanese, it does, like, if you go back and you watch like Kung Fu Hustle, this so reminds me of Kung Fu Hustle. Oh wait, that's Chinese. Kung Fu Hustle. Anyway, so they have like that. They kind of adopted China and Japan during the 20s. I believe they adopted a lot of American culture in the bigger countries. And so a lot of our flapper culture, our gangster culture kind of got translated over into those countries. But anyway, the Japanese, that's why he's got that really, really cool hat on. But then he's got the traditional Japanese garb to go with it. So he's got like kind of a modernized American style hat from the 20s. And then he's got all that traditional Japanese garb. It really shows the balancing of the 2 cultures at the time. Whew, so cool. All right, the Korean here on the right, very, very pretty young ladies. I don't quite see the cultural, like for instance, in the Italian and the Japanese, very, very iconically those countries, right? I'm not quite seeing it here with the Korean. I might be wrong. Maybe that knife there is distinctly Korean heritage. Not sure, but it's still a beautiful card. I actually think that's probably one of my favorite arts. Next up, we have Portuguese here. Portuguese, yes. The kind of the dancing style that they do a lot in Portugal. I haven't gotten down to Portugal before, but it's very, very pretty, like what I've seen on YouTube. That reminds me of a lot of those parades that they put on down in South America. The Russian, we've got our ballet dancers here. They're really, really beautiful. They're doing their full gala. We've even got, in the background, we've got some of the, what are they? Not minarets. I forget what they're called. But those onion-shaped domes that are really, really beautiful. They're, in Russia, they're like red and gold and different colors, and they're really, really pretty. Then we have our Spanish here on the right. It looks like somebody's making paella. Is that how you say that? I think. Anyway, really, really pretty, like a marketplace, South American marketplace. Very, very pretty. These are cool. These are really awesome. I think this was so like culturally diverse. I know you can't get every country printed, but this was such a good smattering of beautiful culture. Loved it. And then we get to Halo rings. No, I'm just kidding. We got the Halo Fountain. Now this card on my list, I think is the most likely to see breaking, like getting broken and or bannings. I don't think it's gonna get banned, not immediately anyway, but it's certainly anyway. So for a white and 2 generic, you get an artifact that says pay a white and untap a tap creature you control, create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. By the way, this can go into any white deck. It doesn't have to have a deck with green in it just because it says a green and white creature. Pay 2 white, untap 2 target creature, 2 tap creatures you control, draw a card. Heck yes. Now, a good way to get your creatures tapped is the crew mechanic. You can crew a card, or an artifact, really, quite frankly, infinitely. So you can tap your whole team to crew a 1 crew artifact. Okay, but for 5 white and tap, untap 15 tap creatures you control, you win the game. What? Why did they print that on this card? So I know so many token strategies that just make a ton of tokens. We got Populate, we got Goblins, we got all kinds of great things that are going to bring out so many tokens. That is not a hard... In my mind, I've seen 15 creatures on the battlefield really easily all the time. This is not a hard thing to do. So cool. Anyway, stick around. We have a Praetor who's come back in this set that I didn't think was alive anymore. Guess in the comments below. All right. Next up, we have Ziatora the Incinerator. So this is our Jund legendary demon dragon. He's a 6/6 flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Ziatora the Incinerator deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasure tokens. So you get a sack outlet out of this. You get treasure tokens out of this. I don't see a downside to this guy, but I don't think that I would main board him. Or sorry, I don't think I would play him as my commander. I think he would be more likely to go in a Jund 99 where I want extra value or an extra sack outlet. This is not an infinite sack outlet, so it's limited in that regard. It does create minor value. So I think it's a good card. I don't think it's going to be a primary commander for most people. Very cool though. Falcon Punch! Anyway, so for Bant, we have a legendary creature, demon, bird thing, and he looks so cool. Look at that. I think that was actually on some of the promotional art, this guy. Falco Spara Pact Weaver. He's a flying trample, 3/3 for 4. Okay, not great. Whenever he enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it, so the one that removes damage or removes the destroy effects, and then gets removed. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. Sweet. Okay, you may cast spells from the top of your library by removing a counter from a creature you control in addition to paying their other costs. Holy crap, you should be running Ozolith all over the place. Hardened Scales, Ozolith. So much more with this guy. This guy is disgusting. This guy's cool. I think he's going to end up being in my Atraxa deck, if I got to be honest. He's going to be really cool. But Falco, welcome to the party, dude. He's like so chill here on the right. So chill. I don't know what's going on with the image here. I think that Scryfall didn't have really great copies of that image. MMAR Splinter Twin type creature. This young lady is kicking butt and taking names. Jaxis the Troublemaker is a 4-drop 2/3 human warrior. From what I can tell, she's female. All right, for a red and a tap, discard a card. Create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control. It gains haste. Whenever this creature dies, draw a card. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so we're discarding a card to copy a creature. Okay, that creature's going to come into play. It's going to gain haste. Whenever it dies, we get to draw a card. So we're going to pitch a land, create a token, go swinging, and then whenever the creature dies, draw your card. Okay, now here's the interesting part about this is that you can, hang with me, a Brutaclad deck loves tokens, right? So if you make a token with Jaxis that it basically has all this wording on it, okay, you are going to be able to have, at the beginning of your upkeep with Brutaclad, Brutaclad is going to make a copy, or make all of your tokens a copy of a creature token you control. Well, you can make them all the copy of this creature that you've already made a copy of, right? All of your creatures can be like, I don't know, Maniform Hellkite, okay? All of your creatures can become Maniform Hellkites, and they stay that way. And then whenever they die, you draw cards. Because only the token that you've made for the turn with this, Jaxis, is the one that's going to get sacrificed. All of the other ones that you turned into the Maniform Hellkite with Brutaclad are going to stay around as Maniform Hellkites, and they'll die and draw cards. Fantastic. This is going straight into my Brutaclad deck. So much fun. Okay, next up on our list, we have some weird draw. So Ledger Shredder is a 1/3 flying. It says whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, any player, Ledger Shredder connives. So we are going to draw a card and then discard a card. If the discarded card is a non-land card, put a 1 counter on this creature. So on any player's turn, if they play a second spell in their turn, any player's turn, any player that casts 2, okay? So if an opponent plays 2 cards on my turn, I get to connive. If they play 2 cards on another player, or 2 spells on another player's turn, I get to connive. Okay, But we get to draw and discard with not having to put any, like, basically any kind of mana into it. It's just a 1/3 for 2. That's just going to get us card value, basically what they call it, high quality draw. Basically, you're going to really shape and sculpt that hand to be exactly what you want. This is going to be so good in any kind of deck that wants to be discarding. He's amazing. Wiretapping. Now, this is a strange one. It's a 5-drop, 1 blue, 4 generic, hideaway 5. When this enchantment enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Okay, so that 1 face down, okay, it's just going to chill out under wiretapping. Whenever you draw your first card during each of your draw steps, draw a card. Okay, so you're going to get 2 draws a turn. Basically, a Phyrexian Arena without shooting yourself in the face. You then, if you have 9 or more cards in hand, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. So this, I think, is going to go into something like a, what's her name? Oh, it's the girl from Khans of Tarkir. She attacks, and then Narset Transcended, I think. She plays cards from the top of your library. Well, this is going to go right in there with that deck because you can get wiretapping into play off of Narset, and then Narset is already playing big dumb spells. So putting a big dumb spell under wiretapping is just going to be gravy. So I think that's where it goes. I might be wrong on that, but I think it's a really, really good card for that deck, especially. Also really good for a Yuriko deck, I think. And the reason why I say that is because you're also playing really big dumb cards in a Yuriko deck. Similarly, you're playing big dumb cards in a Satoru Umezawa deck. Those decks where you're playing big dumb cards that, you know, really are hard to cast normally, that's going to help. All right, next up, we have the best card in the set. Oh my goodness, this is the best card in the set, in my opinion. This is going to be the most unilaterally played card out of every card on this list. An offer you can't refuse. For 1 blue, counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. Oh darn. You are going to get basically, at uncommon level, at 50 cents a card, you counter any spell that's not a creature. This is so powerful. This is like on the same power level as Fierce Guardianship. It's the same power level as Force of Negation. It's on those levels, okay? In my opinion, it's on that level because 1, it's an uncommon, and 2, it only costs 1 blue. And the thing that you're giving up is the fact that Force of Negation, you have to pitch a card to get the freeness. Otherwise, it costs you 3. This one is 1 blue, and you're giving them some treasures. So you're giving them a chance to cast the next spell in their hand, but that most pivotal spell is gone, is out of there. It's done. Imagine doing this to a Cyclonic Rift. Okay, imagine doing this to a turn 1 Mystic Remora. I mean, just so good. So unbelievably good. And you don't even go down in card advantage. This is an amazing card. All right, last card. You've been waiting. This is the Praetor. This is the Praetor that's come back, and he is angry. Urabrask Heretic Praetor. It's a 5-drop, 4/4 haste. Okay, the last one was haste. And the last one said would give all of our creatures have haste. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, the next time they would draw a card this turn, instead they exile the top card of their library. They may play it this turn. Okay, so what's interesting about this, why this last ability is so interesting to me, is because 1, everyone's getting to see what's coming off the top of their library for that first card, right? So it's public knowledge, and they only get to use that card until end of turn. So it forces them to either play it or lose it. Very, very cool to me. And plus that, I mean, that Phyrexian, Phyrexian art, just so pretty. But yeah, I think this is a very interesting card. I think it'll see play in Commander for sure. This obviously goes into our Prosper decks, but I really like the fact that it's turning off card draw and turning it into exile. So you're gonna occasionally, you're gonna really mess up people's plans with this card. This is really going to change the way that they interact with you, especially hurtful to control decks, because they're gonna either lose that card or play it. If they play it, now they're down resources for interacting with you on your turn. I really like Urabrask. Anyway, I think that is it for our show. Thank you so much for coming out. This has been day 3 of our spoilers. This has been the longest video. It's been crazy long, but I've had so much fun putting it together. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I really love it that you guys have been coming out and supporting me. Again, down below, we have MTG on command. Their deck boxes, 10% off in the description. I love these guys. They're doing such great work. They are 3D printed deck boxes, so understand that. Thanks so much for coming out. Have a great day. Where's my button?